Good day everyone, my name is Sandra o Parcero. Today, we will tackle about the Filipino values. So what is the Filipino values? Values are universal, shared by all people. What we call Filipino values are those given emphasis in the culture and tradition of the Filipinos. They shape character or ugaling Pilipino. The study of cultural values belong to ethics. Let's come now to the Filipino cultural values. Values do not belong inclusively to Filipino, meaning it will find different meaning and application based on experience to show the true value of Filipino. Filipino values are those we derive from our culture or way of life, from our distinctive way of becoming human in the particular place and time. So meaning, say, that is starts or we adapt based on sa kultura na ating kinalakihan. Let's come now to the values of the Filipino. So first is pananalig sa may kapal comes from the belief that God is the supreme creator. Ito po yung naniniwala ang mga Filipino sa Diyos na siyang lumikha ng lahat. Next is pag-ibig, pakikipagkapwa, pagpapahalaga sa pamilya, hiya at utang na loob. Let's come now to the Filipino moral ideal. Success is measured in terms of moral respectability, di baling mahirap basta't may dangal. Meaning, the Filipino people have a dignity that they cannot change for money, and it is very valuable for them. The ultimate expectation is somebody for everybody to act the way our national being ought to behave. More fundamental than magpakalalaki o magpakababae is the conceptual expectation of magpakatao. Expected din sa bawat Pilipino ay ang pagiging mahinhin, or should I say, dapat anuman ang gender ng bawat individual is nakaayon sa kanilang kilos. Such unfortunate individual is ostracized or dismissed as hayop or walang hiya, implying that only a brute can act. Kapag nakasabi or nakarinig tayo nito, meaning ito ay napakasamang tao o kaya naman ay hindi kaaya-aya ang kanyang gawain. Filipino values are both objective and subjective values. Objective, in the sense that they are things that are valuable and desirable. Subjective, in the sense that they presuppose a subject, that is a person who is valuing or experiencing such value. Values are either positive or negative. Positive when they contribute to the development of proper attitude and behavior. Negative when they do not lend to the development of proper behavior but instead leads to the corruption of behavior. Signal give us an example of the ambivalence of our pakikisama value system. Another means of achieving SIR or smooth interpersonal relations is pakikisama. So what is pakikisama? Pakikisama comes from the word sama, which means accompany or go along with. Means giving in our yielding to the will of the leader on the majority so that the decision of the group becomes unanimous. So meaning, example, kabilang ka sa isang grupo or grupo sa isang klase, which is nagkakaroon kayo ng group thinking or project na dapat pag-usapan. Meaning, hindi ka lamang yung kailangan masunod, which is kailangan mo ng suggestion ng bawat isa for the good preparation for your projects. Let's come now to the double standard mentality. So what is double standard mentality? The Filipino moral behavior is characterized as an ambivalent, meaning that the Filipino is comfortable with the double standard mentality. Ito po yung kinasanayan ng mga Filipino, which is mayroon silang dalawang bagay that need to think properly if the things is magiging mabuti or makakasama. Next is erroneous norms of morality, group-centeredness or group thinking. On the basis of shame is fear of authority figure. Next is growth thinking. It is the mentality of the herd where the lead carabao goes, there the rest of the carabao go. Next is the reorientation or attitude. The solution of the moral ambiguity of the Filipinos depends largely on the attitude towards the problem itself. Meaning, the solution upang makita ang moral ng isang tao is kailangan nakadepende tayo sa ugali. Because it is the way para matukoy ang different kinds of attitude of every Filipino people. So let's come now to the 3 difficulties must be overcome of being a values of Filipino, which is the first is ignorance. So what is ignorance? So meaning it is not aware. So for example, kapag isang tao ay pumunta sa isang place where it is not familiar for them, it may cause ignorance, like sa pagtawid sa kalsada. Kung lumaki ka sa probinsya, hindi ito magiging madali dahil para sa iyo, it is okay. But, sa place or lugar na napuntahan mo, ay mayroong palang ordinance na sinusunod. So, which will having the ignorance. Next is complacency. It is feeling of being comfortable. For example, lumaki ka sa probinsya na kinasanayan ang pagkain ng nakakamay. But unfortunately, lumipat ka ng Maynila for some reason. So that, yung gawain mo yon or kinasanayan mo yon ay kailangan mong baguhin because of changes of your environment. So next is rationalization. So when we say rationalization, it is the mental turning away from the real issues. So ito kapag meron siyang culture na sinusunod, hindi ito inaayon niya sa mga taong nakapaligid sa kanya. So which is lagi siyang excuse at hindi siya marunong or hindi niya nakikita kung ano ang dapat baguhin depende sa mga taong nakapaligid sa kanya. Let's come now to the core values of New Filipino. So moral maturity is a process of conversion. For the conversion to be total, it must work from within the person. It involves new way of thinking, new perception of realities. The human person has value not because of what he was in terms of materials profession, but for what he is creative gifted by God with intellect and will. Father Gorospe explored the potential of values which he considered core, central to the education and eventually transformation of the Filipino. Let's come now to the moral commitment. Values are not acquired genetically. They are personally cultivated and lived. They involve a commitment where one submits himself to the rational demands on his intellect for truth and the moral demands of the will abide by what is good. Meaning, moral commitment, ito po yung pag-alam ng good and rights or paggawa ng mabuti and masama. A responsible has following qualities. A responsible person had the ability to differentiate between what is essential and accidental. Second, a responsible person has the ability to internalize his values. For a responsible person, life is not an external following of required action. Meaning, inaalam din nila ang pagkakaiba ng essential and accidental, which is yung sinadya at hindi sinadya. So let's come now to the truth, love, and faith, integrity, hardworking, social justice. So when we say truth, love, and faith, dito nai-encounter ang tama. So ang love na kung paano ito gamitin ng walang nasasaktan. And then the faith, it is all about God. Next is integrity, meaning honesty. So next is hardworking. So dito din nakikita ang hard works in families that need to work abroad to fulfill the needs of their families. So next is social justice. Dito papasok ang pagiging matulungin when it comes to the people who is marginalized. So So that's all for my discussion. Thank you so much. God bless.